Burnout. When does work start feeling pointless? This is a question many office workers grapple with daily, a silent epidemic sweeping across workplaces globally. It's a silent scream echoing through the cubicles, the meeting rooms, and the coffee breaks. It's a phenomenon that's growing, gaining momentum, fueled by seemingly pointless tasks and incessant demands that chip away at mental health, slowly but surely. Imagine a world where work is fulfilling, where we leap out of bed eager to start the day, excited by the challenges ahead. But for many, this is a far cry from reality. Instead, their reality is a monotonous grind, a seemingly endless cycle of superfluous meetings, mountains of paperwork, and the ever-looming presence of incompetent managers. These are not just minor irritants. They are the makings of a silent epidemic, a long-term disease that is insidiously damaging our health. One might argue that such dissatisfaction is a mere byproduct of industrialization, a small price to pay for job security and decent pay. But let's pause for a moment and consider this. Is this unparalleled waste of human resources one of the biggest untold dramas of our time? A Gallup poll paints a chilling picture of this epidemic. Only 13% of the working population strive to perform well in their job. A staggering 64% of employees simply don't care, doing the bare minimum to get through the day. And the most alarming of all, 25% of workers despise their jobs to such an extent they even work against the company that employs them. This isn't just happening in one country or one industry. It's a global trend. What's the cost of this dissatisfaction? It's not just about profits or productivity. It's about people who are becoming ill because they feel their work is pointless. People recovering from burnout, a term we've become all too familiar with. A staggering 25% of workers despise their jobs to the point of working against their company. This is not a mere statistic, it's a wake-up call. What causes this widespread feeling of pointlessness in the workplace? Let's delve deeper into the machinery of this discontent. Imagine, you're slogging your way through another superfluous meeting, an hour-long discussion that could have been a 5-minute email. The frustration is palpable, the energy in the room stagnant. Is it any wonder that such unnecessary gatherings contribute to the sense of dissatisfaction many of us feel at work? Then there's the endless paperwork, forms, reports, memos, more forms. It seems like a never-ending cycle. Each paper you fill out feels like a drop in the ocean, and you can't help but wonder, does any of it really matter? This relentless barrage of administrative tasks can make our work feel tedious and meaningless, sapping our motivation and leading to a sense of futility. But perhaps the most significant contributor to this sense of pointlessness is incompetent management. Managers who lack the necessary skills to lead effectively can create an environment where employees feel undervalued and unappreciated. Their inability to provide clear direction or constructive feedback can leave workers feeling adrift, unsure of their role and their impact. This often results in a toxic work atmosphere where morale is low and discontent is high. It's not just about the paycheck anymore. Employees want to feel valued, to know that their work has a purpose. When this need isn't met, it can lead to feelings of disengagement, resentment, and eventually burnout. So it appears that the machinery of pointlessness is powered by a mix of needless meetings, redundant paperwork, and ineffective leadership. These factors combine to create a work environment where individuals feel more like cogs in a machine than valued contributors. The irony is that in our pursuit of efficiency and productivity, we've created a system that often undermines these very goals. Instead of fostering a sense of purpose and engagement, we're cultivating dissatisfaction and burnout. Just as a cog in a machine, the individual worker can feel lost in the grand scheme of things, their efforts seeming futile and unappreciated. But what does burnout feel like from the inside? Let's hear it directly from those who have been there. Imagine waking up each morning, not with the anticipation of a productive day ahead, but with a profound sense of dread. Imagine the hours spent at your desk, not filled with purpose and productivity, but with a nagging feeling of futility. Imagine the very act of work, not as a source of fulfillment, but as an arduous task that drains the joy out of life. This is the reality for many individuals recovering from burnout. John, a former corporate executive, recalls his experience. It was like being stuck in a cycle of unending demands, with each completed task replaced by a new one. A sense of accomplishment was a fleeting mirage, always just out of reach. Sarah, a once vibrant marketing prof, shares, I felt like a machine, churning out work without any emotional engagement. The spark that once ignited my passion for my job had been extinguished. I was merely existing, not living. And then there's Daniel, a software developer, who says, I remember staring blankly at my computer screen, incapable of marshaling my thoughts. It was as if my brain had gone on strike, refusing to participate in the charade of pointless work. These stories are not unique. They are the voices from the trenches, the first-hand accounts of individuals who have been on the front lines of the battle against burnout. They paint a poignant picture of the human toll of a work culture that prizes productivity over people, deadlines over well-being, and profits over purpose. But it's not all doom and gloom. These individuals also share stories of recovery, of regaining their health, their happiness, and their sense of purpose. They talk about the importance of self-care, of setting boundaries, and of seeking help when needed. They remind us that while burnout may be a silent epidemic, it is not an inescapable fate. These are not isolated cases, they are the echoes of a silent epidemic. To understand burnout better, we need to hear from those studying it closely. Let's start with psychologist Christina Maslach, one of the pioneers in the field of burnout research. Based at Berkeley, she has spent decades exploring this phenomenon. Her work has led to the development of the Maslach Burnout Inventory, a tool used worldwide to measure occupational burnout. Her research boils down to three key elements: exhaustion, cynicism, and inefficacy. In other words, feeling overworked, disconnected, and ineffective. Exhaustion is more than just physical tiredness. It's an overwhelming sense of depletion, a draining feeling that leaves you emotionally spent. Cynicism, or depersonalization, is the next stage where you begin to distance yourself from your work. You start viewing your job, colleagues, or clients negatively. Lastly, inefficacy is the feeling of incompetence, the nagging thought that you're not accomplishing anything worthwhile. However, Maslach isn't the only one delving into the intricacies of burnout. Other experts in the field echo her findings and delve further into the causes. They point towards a lack of control over one's work, insufficient rewards, unfair treatment, and a breakdown of community as major contributing factors. They argue that burnout is not just an individual problem, but a societal issue, a symptom of a work culture that values productivity over people. One of the key insights from this research is that burnout is not just about working too hard or too long. It's about the quality of the work and the sense of fulfillment or lack thereof. It's about the feeling of being stuck in a cycle of superfluous meetings, endless paperwork, and dealing with incompetent managers. It's about the realization that your work, no matter how much time and energy you pour into it, seems utterly pointless. So, the next time you think about burnout, remember it's not just about being tired or stressed. It's a complex interplay of factors that leave you feeling drained, disconnected, and ineffective. Burnout isn't just about being overworked. It's about feeling undervalued, unfulfilled, and ultimately, pointless. So, we've identified the problem and its causes. Now comes the crucial question: how do we break this cycle? Let's start on an individual level. It's important to recognize when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed and take steps to manage these feelings. This might mean setting boundaries between work and personal time, taking regular breaks during the workday, or prioritizing tasks to avoid feeling overwhelmed. However, it's also crucial to remember that you're not alone. Reach out to your colleagues, friends, or family when you're feeling stressed. A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. It's also worth exploring professional help, such as counseling or therapy, to help navigate feelings of burnout. But it's not just about individual action. Employers and organizations play a significant role in combating burnout. They need to foster a culture that values work-life balance and employee well-being. This could mean implementing flexible working hours, encouraging regular breaks, or providing mental health support. Moreover, managers need to rethink their approach to leadership. Instead of promoting a culture of overwork and stress, they should encourage a healthy work environment where employees feel valued and heard. This might involve regular check-ins with employees, training programs to help managers recognize signs of burnout, and an open-door policy where employees feel comfortable voicing their concerns. And while it's important to address burnout once it occurs, prevention is always better than cure. This means creating an environment where employees feel engaged and motivated, where their work is meaningful, and where they feel they're making a difference. It's a challenging task, no doubt. But the rewards, a happier, healthier workforce, improved productivity, and a more positive work environment, are well worth the effort. In the end, it's about more than just surviving the workday. It's about thriving, about finding joy and fulfillment in our work. And that's something we should all strive for. Change begins with awareness. Recognizing burnout for what it is, a silent epidemic, is the first step towards a healthier, happier workplace.